Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bastions and Basilisks, Monsters Edition. Alright, this time we're going to be talking about the Graveknight. It's a big one. It's only 2 pages, not like the Dvarken. That was four pages. Alright, Graveknights are undead warriors granted unlife by a cursed suit of armor that rejuvenates the Graveknights unless the armor is wholly obliterated. Rules for creating a Graveknight and for Graveknight armor appear on pages 190 to 191 of the Bestiary. I'll do the sides, and then we'll... Arts of War. Graveknights don't arise from mere soldiers, but from great tacticians who won countless engagements. Often, they were once their land's mightiest general or most decorated war hero. This means Graveknights don't just rush into a toe-to-toe melee. They've studied the land, often with the experience and unrelenting gaze only an undead can bring to bear, and engineered troop movements, earthworks, and traps to ensure victory. They usually have reinforcements ready to deploy and redundant contingencies in place. Just as great strategists opine that an engagement is decided before the first blow is landed, a combat against a Graveknight often feels like a desperate fight in a rapidly closing vice. Steed adaptations. For some Graveknights, their mount is more than a projection of their desire to move quickly around the battlefield. A Graveknight's phantom steed might have the appearance, resistances, or movements of a favored mount the knight rode as immortal, such as a Nightmare's resistance to fire or a Pegasus's flying speed. That's cool, I like that. Alright, alternate Graveknight abilities. You can create a more unusual Graveknight by substituting one of their abilities, except for Dark Vision, Negative Healing, Rejuvenation, or Immunities, with one of the following. More alternate abilities appear in the Bestiary. Clutching Armor, Reaction, Arcane, Transmutation. Trigger, a creature attempts to move away from the Graveknight. Effect, the Graveknight's armor animates and attempts to grab the triggering creature. It makes an athletics check to grapple using the Graveknight's athletics modifier -2. The armor can continue to grapple the creature normally. Since the armor is grappling the creature, the Graveknight doesn't need a free hand to do so. Eager for Battle, Fortune. When the Graveknight rolls initiative, they roll twice and take the better result. They're quickened during their first round after rolling initiative and can use this extra action to step, stride, or strike. Empty save for Dust. The Graveknight's armor contains nothing more than a swirling dust that puffs out from joints in their armor. A living creature that touches or is touched by a Graveknight, including one hit by the Graveknight's first strike, must succeed a reflex saving throw or become contaminated with the dust. While contaminated, the target creature is stupefied 1 and gains weakness to the Graveknight's energy damage equal to half the Graveknight's level. The contamination ends after 1 minute or when the creature is doused with water, whichever occurs first. Their level? So, okay. Right, because I guess it's a creature level. So, it's creature level 14. Got it. Graveknight's Shield. Arcane, Necromancy. The Graveknight's curse extends to the shield, or the Graveknight's armor uses a portion of itself to produce the shield. The Graveknight has a shield that uses the statistics of a sturdy shield of a level no higher than the Graveknight's level -1. The shield is quasi-independent of the Graveknight and automatically protects the Graveknight from harm. When the shield is raised, it automatically uses shield block to reduce the damage of the first attack against the Graveknight each round, without the Graveknight needing to spend their reaction to do so. The shield automatically rejuvenates with the rest of the Graveknight and must be destroyed in the same manner as the Graveknight's armor. Portentos Glare. Too many S's. Portentos Glare. Aura, Divine, Emotion, Enchantment, Fear, Mental, Visual. 30 feet. The Graveknight's visage is one of overwhelming menace. When a creature ends its turn in the aura, it must attempt a will saving throw. A creature that fails is doomed 1, or doomed 1 and frightened 2 on a critical failure. The Graveknight can activate or deactivate the aura by using an interact action to open or close their helmet visor. Eat a dick. Probably shouldn't have said that. Graveknight Warmaster. Exemplars of undying violence, Graveknight Warmasters are devastating forces on the battlefield, able to spur allies to ever greater levels of violence. So, Graveknight Warmaster, creature 14, uncommon, lawful evil, medium, undead. Perception, +26, dark vision. Languages, common and necro. Skills, athletics, +28. Deception, +26. Intimidation, +28. Religion, +24. Society, +25. Warfare lore, +27. Strength, +8. Dex, +4. Con, +5. Intelligence, +3. Wisdom +4, Charisma +6. Items +1 resilient full plate, heavy crossbow 20 bolts, war flail. But you have to destroy their armor, so it doesn't matter that they have super cool armor. You got to destroy it. So that's kind of rude. AC 38, fortitude +27, reflex +24, will +24, hit points 255, negative healing, rejuvenation, immunities, death effects, disease, electricity, paralyzed, poison, unconscious. They're immune to electricity. Interesting. Hungry armor. A creature that strikes a Graveknight Warmaster with a melee weapon must succeed a DC 31 reflex save or be disarmed of that weapon. If the creature critically fails, the weapon ends up in the Graveknight's space. A creature that hits a Graveknight Warmaster with an unarmed attack must succeed a DC 31 reflex or become grabbed by the Graveknight until the end of its next turn. It escapes, or the Graveknight moves, whichever comes first. Rejuvenation. Divine Necromancy. When a Graveknight is destroyed, their armor rebuilds their body over the course of 1d10 days, or more quickly if the armor is worn by a living host. Graveknight Armor, Bestiary 191. If the body is destroyed before then, the process restarts. A Graveknight can only be permanently destroyed by obliterating their armor, such as with Disintegrate, transporting it to the positive energy plane, or by throwing it into the heart of a volcano. See, volcano makes sense, because they can't, it's hot enough to melt the armor. That's a given. But also, their body would keep getting destroyed. Attacks of opportunity. Oh, it gets attacks of opportunity as a reaction. So that's nifty. I know not a lot of things get those. Speed, 25 feet. Melee, 1 action. War Flail, +29. Disarm, electricity, magical sweep, trip. Damage, 3d10 +14 bludgeoning, +1d6 electricity. The electricity just feels disrespectful at that point. Melee, 1 action. Fist, +29. Agile, electricity, magical. Damage, 3d6 +14 bludgeoning, +1d6 electricity. Ranged, 1 action. Heavy crossbow, +25. Electricity, magical, range increment 120 feet. Reload 2. Damage, 3d10 +6 +1d6 electricity. Devastating blast, 2 actions. Arcane electricity evocation. Really, you are obsessed with electricity there, my guy. Get over it. She's not that into you. Devastating blast. 2 actions. Arcane electricity evocation. The Graveknight unleashes a 30-foot cone of lightning. Creatures in the area take 8d12 electricity damage. DC 34 basic reflex save. The Graveknight can use this ability once every 1d4 rounds. So recharge d4. Exemplar of Violence. 2 actions. Visual. Frequency, once per round. Effect. The Graveknight attempts a strike as their armor flashes with sinister power that spurs allies to violence. After the strike, allies who can see the Graveknight can use a reaction to step or stride, but they must end their movement in a space adjacent to an enemy. One ally of the Graveknight's choice can instead use a reaction to strike. I like that. Graveknight's Curse. This curse affects anyone who wears a Graveknight's armor for at least 1 hour. Saving throw, DC 39 will save. Onset, 1 hour. Stage 1, doomed and can't remove the armor, 1 day. Stage 2, doomed 2, hampered 10 and can't remove the armor, 1 day. Stage 3, dies and transforms into the armor of Graveknight. So as long as you keep passing the will save, you can keep wearing its +1 resilient full plate. So, Phantom Mount, 3 actions, Arcane Conjuration. The Graveknight summons a supernatural mount as per Phantom Steed, heightened to 7th level. The steed is AC 34, Fortitude +23, Reflex +20, Will +20, and 85 hit points. If the steed is destroyed, the Graveknight must wait 1 hour before using this ability again. Ruinous Weapons. Any creature, weapon or armor, unarmed attack the Graveknight uses against the effects of the... Any weapon or armor attack the Graveknight uses gains the effects of the +1 greater striking and greater shock weapon runes. Okay, so if it gets like a different weapon, it still gets... Weapon Master the Graveknight has access to the critical specialization effects of any weapon they hold. So they're burst. I can't wait to go through the bestiary, because all of these, the ones that are from the bestiary, the next one's 2 pages too. Oh, cool. The things that are in other, like in the bestiary, I'm like, I know nothing about, because this is my first book that I'm reading through as far as monsters. So, anyway, so that's it for the Graveknight. So, thanks for watching.